Integration of linear-over-quadratic functions. Good morning. In the previous sections, we've been working on integration problems where the top of our fraction, the numerator, was just a simple constant number, and the bottom, the denominator, was a quadratic expression, something with an x squared term. We learned techniques to handle those nicely. However, things aren't always that simple. Often, the numerator isn't a constant. It's an expression that includes x, specifically a linear expression. That means it will be in the form of p times x plus q, where p and q are just constants. This tutorial is all about how to tackle integrals that look like this. We're going to learn a systematic method for solving integrals of the form, and I'll read it out carefully. The integral of p times x plus q divided by a times x squared plus b times x plus c with respect to x. We'll break down each step so you can confidently solve these types of problems. We'll see how to split these integrals into parts we can easily solve, building on what we already know. And as we move forward, remember that the key is to manipulate the integral into a form where we can apply the rules and techniques we've already mastered. So, let's get started. Understanding the concept. Okay, so let's dive a little deeper into why these integrals of a linear expression over a quadratic, can be tricky. As we discussed on the previous slide, we're looking at integrals of the form integral of px plus q over a x squared plus bx plus c dx. The main hurdle here is that the numerator, px plus q, isn't usually the exact derivative of what's sitting down in the denominator, a x squared plus bx plus c. Remember, if it were the exact derivative, life would be much simpler. Let's quickly find that derivative. The derivative of a x squared plus bx plus c with respect to x is 2x plus b. So, if our numerator was exactly 2x plus b, then the integral would be a straightforward application of the rule that the integral of f prime of x over f of x is simply the natural logarithm of the absolute value of f of x, plus our constant of integration. But as we know, that's not always the case. That's why we need a strategy. The key is to split the numerator. We want to break up px plus q into two pieces. The first piece will be a multiple of the derivative of the denominator, that is, some constant times 2x plus b. The second piece will simply be a constant, which we'll call b. Think of it like this. We're trying to borrow a part of the numerator that does look like the derivative of the denominator, so we can get that nice logarithmic integral. By doing this, we cleverly transform our one complicated integral into two simpler integrals. One of these new integrals will give us that logarithm we're hoping for, and the other will be a standard integral of a rational function. And as we'll see on later slides, solving that second integral often involves a technique called completing the square to get it into a form we can easily integrate using standard formulas. So, this splitting technique is the foundation for tackling these types of problems. Step-by-step procedure. Okay, so let's move on to the systematic procedure for tackling these integrals. This slide, slide 3, outlines the step-by-step approach we'll use to solve integrals of the form integral of px plus q divided by a x squared plus bx plus c with respect to dx. Remember from the previous slide, the core idea is to cleverly manipulate the numerator so we can break down this complex integral into simpler parts. Step 1. Find the derivative of the denominator. This is crucial. We start by finding the derivative of the quadratic expression in the denominator, which is a x squared plus bx plus c. The derivative, as you'll recall from your calculus, is 2x plus b. We'll need this derivative in the next step. Step 2. Express the numerator in terms of the derivative. Now, this is where the magic happens. We want to rewrite the numerator, px plus q, as a combination of that derivative we just found, 2x plus b, and a constant. Mathematically, we express this as px plus q equals a times 2x plus b here, and b are constants that we need to determine. Think of it like this. We're trying to express our numerator as a multiple of the derivative of the denominator, plus some leftover constant. Step 3. Solve for constants a and b. Let's find those constants. First, expand the right side of the equation. px plus q equals 2ax plus a b plus b. Now, to solve for a and b, we equate the coefficients of the x terms and the constant terms on both sides. This means the coefficient of x on the left side, which is p, must equal the coefficient of x on the right side, which is 2a. Therefore, p equals 2a, which gives us a equals p divided by 2a. Similarly, the constant term on the left side is q, and on the right side it's a b plus b. So, q equals a b plus b, and solving for b gives us b equals q minus ab. Step 4. Split the integral. Now that we know a and b, we can rewrite our original integral. We substitute a and b back into our expression from step 2, and then split the integral into two separate integrals. This gives us the integral of a times 2 a x plus b divided by a x squared plus bx plus c dx equals a times the integral of 2 a x plus b divided by a x squared plus bx plus c dx plus b times the integral of 1 divided by a x squared plus bx plus c dx. Step 5. Integrate each part. Finally, we integrate each of these simpler integrals. The first integral, a times the integral of 2 a x plus b divided by a x squared plus bx plus c dx, is a classic case of integrating the derivative of the denominator. Remember that if you have the integral of f prime of x divided by f of x dx, the answer is the natural logarithm of the absolute value of f of x, plus the constant of integration, see the second integral, b times the integral of 1 divided by a x squared plus bx plus c dx, is a standard integral of a rational function. We'll typically solve this by completing the square in the denominator. As we discussed earlier, to get it into a form we can easily integrate using standard formulas. So that's the process. We've broken down a seemingly complicated integral into two manageable pieces. In the next slide, we'll work through a concrete example to solidify your understanding. Remember, the key is to systematically follow these steps, and you'll be able to handle a wide range of these types of integrals. Worked example. Okay, let's tackle a worked example to solidify our understanding of integrating linear functions over quadratic functions. The problem we're going to solve is the integral of 2x plus 5, all divided by x squared plus 4x plus 13, with respect to x. Step 1. Derivative of the denominator first. As we discussed, we need to find the derivative of the denominator. The denominator is defined as f of x equals x squared plus 4x plus 13. Now, applying the power rule, the derivative, which we'll call f prime of x, is 2x plus 4. Remember, we're doing this because we want to express our numerator in terms of this derivative. Step 2. Express the numerator in terms of 2x plus 4. Now, we want to rewrite the numerator, 2x plus 5, as a multiple of the derivative we just found, 2x plus 4, plus a constant. So, we write 2x plus 5 equals a times 2x plus 4, plus b, where a and b are constants that we need to determine. Step 3. Solve for a and b. Let's solve for a and b. Expanding the right side of the equation, we get 2ax plus 4a plus b. Now, we equate the coefficients of x and the constant terms. The coefficient of x on the left side is 2, and on the right side it's 2a. Therefore, 2 equals 2a, which gives us a equals 1. Next, we equate the constant terms. On the left side, we have 5, and on the right side, we have 4a plus b. Substituting a equals 1, we get 5 equals 4 times 1 plus b, which simplifies to 5 equals 4 plus b. Solving for b, we find that b equals 1. Step 4. Split the integral. Now that we have the values of a and b, we can split the original integral. We rewrite the integral of 2x plus 5 over x squared plus 4x plus 13 as the integral of 1 times 2x plus 4 plus 1, all divided by x squared plus 4x plus 13. This is equivalent to adding two separate integrals. The integral of 2x plus 4 over x squared plus 4x plus 13, and the integral of 1 over x squared plus 4x plus 13. Step 5. Solve the individual integrals. Let's tackle each integral separately. Part A. The integral of 2x plus 4 over x squared plus 4x plus 13. Notice that the numerator is now exactly the derivative of the denominator. This is fantastic. This means the integral simplifies to the natural logarithm of the absolute value of x squared plus 4x plus 13. Part B. Now, let's move on to the integral of 1 over x squared plus 4x plus 13. To solve this, we need to complete the square in the denominator. X squared plus 4x plus 13 can be rewritten as x plus 2, all squared, plus 9, which is the same as x plus 2 squared plus 3 squared. Now we have an integral in a form we recognize. Recall the standard integral formula. The integral of 1 over x squared plus a squared is 1 over times the arctangent of x over a in our case, is 3. Therefore, the integral of 1 over x plus 2 squared plus 3 squared is 1/3 times the arctangent of x plus 2 over 3. Final answer. Finally, combining the results from both parts, we get the final answer. The integral of 2x plus 5 over x squared plus 4x plus 13 is the natural logarithm of the absolute value of x squared plus 4x plus 13, plus 1/3 times the arctangent of x plus 2 over 3, plus the constant of integration, c, and that's it. We've successfully integrated a linear function over a quadratic function. Remember, the key is to manipulate the numerator to include the derivative of the denominator, allowing us to split the integral into manageable parts. Don't forget to review the common mistakes we discussed earlier to avoid those pitfalls. Real-world application note. This slide highlights the real-world applications of what we've just learned. This mathematical technique isn't just an abstract exercise, it frequently appears in fields like physics and engineering. Specifically, consider situations where you're calculating things like electric potential or gravitational potential. Imagine you have a continuous distribution of electric charge or mass spread out along a line. When you're trying to determine the potential at a certain point due to this distribution, the integral you end up with often takes the form of a linear expression in the numerator, divided by a quadratic expression in the denominator. Okay, let's move on to slide 5. Now that we've mastered the technique of integrating linear expressions over quadratic expressions, it's important to understand why this is useful. So, the integral we've been working with, integral of px plus q over a x squared plus bx plus c, is a common building block in solving these kinds of physics and engineering problems. It's a powerful tool for modeling and understanding various physical phenomena. Keep this in mind as we move forward to the next slide, where we'll discuss some common mistakes students make when tackling these integrals. Being aware of these pitfalls will help you avoid them and ensure you're applying the technique correctly. Common mistakes. A very frequent error is forgetting the first step we discussed. Students sometimes try to directly manipulate the numerator to resemble the denominator. Remember, the key is to compare the numerator to the derivative of the denominator. So, always begin by finding f prime of x. That is the derivative of the quadratic expression. That's your starting point for the whole process. Now, recall that after splitting the integral, we often end up with an integral where we need to complete the square. This is to get the denominator into a form where we can apply a standard integration formula. Be extremely careful with your signs during this process. When you're transforming an expression like x squared plus bx plus c into the form of x plus h, all squared, plus or minus k squared, a single sign error can throw off the entire calculation. Double-check your work here. This is a classic mistake in all indefinite integration problems, not just this one. Remember, because we're finding an indefinite integral, meaning we're finding the family of functions whose derivative is the integrand, we must add the constant of integration, which we denote as c, to our final answer. Don't leave it out. Finally, let's revisit how we find the constants a and b. We express the numerator, px plus q, as a times the derivative of the denominator, which is 2x plus b, plus a constant b. Then, we equate the coefficients of x and the constant terms on both sides of the equation. A small algebraic slip-up when solving for a and b will propagate through the rest of the problem, leading to an incorrect final answer. So, take your time and carefully check your algebra when determining those values. Okay, let's move on to slide 6. This slide highlights some common mistakes students make when tackling these types of integration problems, integrating a linear expression over a quadratic expression. Paying attention to these will save you a lot of frustration. Alright, so those are the common pitfalls to watch out for. Now, let's move on to the final slide where we'll summarize the key takeaways from this tutorial. Key takeaways. First point, the goal, to split the integral into a logarithmic part and a standard formula part. Remember, the core strategy here isn't to directly integrate the whole fraction at once. Instead, we cleverly break it down. We aim to rewrite the integral so we have one part that will give us a natural logarithm when integrated, and another part that we can solve using formulas we already know, those standard integrals we've practiced. Next, the split. Px plus q equals a times the derivative of the denominator plus b. This is the engine that drives the whole process. We express the numerator, that's the px plus q part, as a combination of the derivative of the denominator and a constant. And b are just constants we need to figure out. Think of it like taking the numerator and expressing it in terms of the denominator's rate of change, plus a little bit extra. Moving on, logarithmic part. The integral of f prime of x over f of x dx equals the natural logarithm of the absolute value of f of x. This is a crucial integration rule to remember. If you can manipulate your integral so the numerator is exactly the derivative of the denominator, then this rule applies directly, giving you a simple natural logarithm. F prime of x represents the derivative of the function f of x. Then we have standard part. Use, completing the square, to match one of the 6 standard integration formulae. After we've pulled out the logarithmic part, we're left with a simpler integral, but it might still not be immediately solvable. That's where completing the square comes in. By rewriting the quadratic in the denominator, we can transform it into a form that matches one of the standard integral formulas, like the one for integrating 1 over x squared plus a constant. Finally, final form. The result is typically a combination of a natural logarithm and an inverse trigonometric function like arctangent or arcsine. So, after all the steps, don't be surprised if your final answer looks like a natural logarithm plus an inverse trigonometric function like arctangent or arcsine. That's the typical outcome when integrating these types of functions. Okay, let's recap everything we've learned about integrating linear expressions over quadratic expressions. This slide, our final summary, highlights the key takeaways. Now, on the next slide, we'll look at some common mistakes students make so you can avoid them. But for now, make sure you understand these key takeaways. They're the foundation for successfully tackling these integrals.